All right, welcome back. In this part of our series, we're getting down to brass tacks. We're building an escape plan. This isn't about theory anymore. It's about the very real, very courageous act of deliberately disconnecting from a dynamic that's just not working. This is for when you know, deep down, it's time to go. So let me just ask you straight up. Are you ready? Because just admitting that you want to break free, that's huge. That's the first and maybe the most powerful step you can take. Everything we're about to cover is just the how. So let's get into it. Okay, before we even take one step, we need a guiding principle, a North Star, and this is it. Look, this whole process is probably going to feel awful. It'll feel scary, uncomfortable, maybe even wrong. Your feelings are going to be screaming at you to just go back to what's familiar. This principle is your compass. You have to act on what you know is right for your survival, not what feels easy in the moment. First things first, we have to reframe what's actually happening here. Leaving isn't about failure. It's not giving up. It is the single bravest act of self-preservation you can make. It's you finally choosing yourself when the entire system is built to make you choose someone else. And let's be crystal clear about what we're leaving behind. According to the source material, a codependent relationship isn't just difficult. It's an emotionally abusive and energetically hostile environment. It's a place that floods your body with stress, that breaks you down, and that literally takes years off your life. You have to understand this to your core. So how do you tackle something that feels so huge, so impossible? You get a plan, a clear blueprint. We're going to break this whole escape down into 3 manageable, actionable steps. This is your disconnection plan. And here it is. Simple, right? Detach, decouple, depart. I want you to think of it like you're dismantling a building. First, you got to cut the power and the water, the physical supply lines. That's detaching. Then you sever the emotional wiring. That's decoupling. And only then, once the structure is weakened, do you walk away completely. That's departing. We're going to tackle those first 2 steps together because that's the inside job. So these first 2 steps, this is your internal work. This is where you methodically and very deliberately start taking apart all the connections that keep this toxic system humming along. This is you taking your power back long before you even pack a bag. Okay, step 1, detach. What does that actually mean? Well, this is the practical nuts and bolts part. It means you stop being the bank, the chef, the chauffeur. You stop being the source for their basic needs. And, just as important, you stop relying on them to be the source for yours. We're talking about the real, tangible stuff that keeps you dependent on each other. Now, this slide is so helpful because it gives you super clear instructions based on which role you've been playing. If you're the toxic giver, your job is simple. Stop providing. The money, the food, the ride, the roof, just stop. If you're the toxic receiver, your job is to stop receiving it. You got to find another way, you see? The action is the opposite, but the command is exactly the same. And really, it all boils down to this. This is the core instruction. Whether you're the one cutting them off or the one finding your own way, the action is the same. Stop. That's it. There's no negotiation, no slow fade. You just stop. Now let's move on to step 2, decouple. This is where it gets even trickier. This is about the emotional addiction. If detaching was about cutting off the resources, decoupling is about cutting off the feelings. It means you have to stop doing all the things that create and feed that toxic emotional bond. And what does that look like? The source gives us a really clear checklist. No more eating together. No more constant texting. No more romantic gestures or going out together. Not even sitting on the couch watching your favorite show together. Literally anything you do that makes you feel emotionally connected, it has to stop. And the key here is that you can't pick and choose. You can't say, well, we'll stop going out, but we can still text. No. To break an emotional addiction, you have to cut off the supply completely. All of it. The instruction is the same as before, just louder. You have to stop. Okay, so once you've started to detach and decouple, you've weakened that toxic structure in a huge way. You've been doing the hard internal work. Now it's time for the final act, the moment of liberation, the final escape. Step 3, depart. And right about here, this is where your biggest internal battle is going to happen. That voice of conditioning in your head is going to scream at you. You can't just leave. Be considerate. You have to give them a warning. You feel this massive sense of obligation, right? And it feels valid, but it's coming from a totally wrong premise. Because this is the truth that changes everything. If you are in a codependent relationship, you are being abused. Emotionally, energetically, maybe in other ways too. And you do not owe your abuser consideration about your escape plan. The only person you need to be considerate of right now is you, your safety, your well-being, period. Let's be perfectly clear, this is not a breakup. It's an escape. The source uses a really powerful analogy. A codependent relationship is like a prison you chose to walk into. And think about it. You don't walk up to your cellmate and give them a heads up that you're planning a prison break, do you? No way. Okay, mission briefing time. Once you actually start this process, detaching, decoupling, preparing to depart, you will face fierce opposition. The system needs you. It's counting on you to stay. When you try to leave, the other person is going to do everything in their power to pull you back in. You have to be ready for it. Now, the pushback is going to look a little different depending on the roles. The giver might threaten you, right? You'll never make it without me. I'm all you have. Meanwhile, the receiver will hit you with guilt. How can you do this to me? You're all I have. They'll threaten you with money. They'll threaten self-harm, anything to keep control. One of the most powerful and confusing tactics you need to watch out for is called love bombing. This is what happens when they feel you pulling away. All of a sudden, they turn into the perfect partner, showering you with so much attention and affection that you feel guilty and confused for ever wanting to leave in the first place. So what does this actually look like? It's the constant just checking in texts. It's the over-the-top gifts that make you feel like you owe them. It's putting you on a pedestal, telling you how perfect you are. It's planning future trips and events to trap you into committing. You have to see it for what it is. It's not love. It's a strategy. And then you have what the source calls PAL tactics: promises, apologies, and lies. It's that classic cycle. I promise I'll change. I'm so sorry. And the biggest one, it will never happen again. These are just words. They are lies designed to get you to stay, to stop you from leaving. And that pattern will repeat over and over until you are the one who breaks it. So how on earth do you move forward when you're facing all of this? You hold on to this truth right here. Your fear of leaving, of the unknown, it's real. I get it. But the pain of staying is a certainty. The discomfort of leaving is temporary. But the price of staying, the loss of yourself, that's permanent. You have to prioritize your freedom over your fears. So, you have the blueprint. You have the warnings. You've literally just been handed the keys to the prison door. The only question left is the one that only you can answer. What will you do?